Hello everybody. I get a lot of questions on how do you drill a hole in a rock. So let's do a little demonstration of all the different bits and a little nice tip for a finishing one after you drill the hole to kind of clean up the edge. There's hollow core bits, there's a barrel ended bit, and then there's kind of a combination of the two, a barrel end with just a little bit of indent in the top. I think I like those the best. Ideally using an 80 grit or 100 grit bit is what I find to be the best for agate. You can use something, in the 240 grit range, but it'll just take a long time. So let's do a little demonstration here. Right, here's the bits that I find are ideal for drilling holes in rocks. For agate, I recommend an 80 grit to 100 grit, like I was saying. This one has just a little indent in the tip of it. I really like these probably the best. They seem to be the most efficient. We have our barrel ended bits that work really well. And if you want to drill a smaller hole, the barrel ended little ones like this are really ideal. And then we have our hollow core. This probably is the fastest and just allows for material to go through it because it's hollow. But these are a little more expensive. These are in a cheaper range where you can get them probably for 25 cents to 50 cents a piece if you buy in bulk. And then after drilling the hole, I like either about a 240 grit or 600 grit cone bit to clean up the edge. So let's take a look on how that's done. Right, so I'll be demonstrating my favorite probably out of all of them for drilling a hole. We've got a barrel end with just a little bit of a core or a little bit of a bowl shape in the end of it. All right, so when drilling a hole, we want to have a little bit of water, but we don't need a ton. Really, less is more when it comes to drilling a hole. This is more than enough, and you'll see as I'm drilling, I will pull away from the water. So I typically like to start at a slight angle like this, about a 45 to get started, and once I have the hole started, I'll move to straight 90-degree on, and I'll rotate in a small circle. So let's pick out our side. I think we'll start here. So we'll get the stone wet, and we'll just start at an angle here. Now that I've got it started, I can slide. Oh, see, we didn't get it started quite enough. And if you don't get it started quite enough, and that's why I typically start at an angle, it can slip off just like that. Great for a demonstration to see what you're not supposed to do there. So we'll go a little bit more of an angle and get it started. Now we're into it, and we can rotate around. So when drilling a hole, I generally recommend not doing a polished stone. Maybe after you've rough shaped the stone, drill the hole, just in case you were to slip like that. And I'm just rotating in a small circle here. You can see a little bit of a slurry building up in there, and I'm away from the water right now. And once it gets really thick, I'll just do a little rinse and let the slurry do the work. Like I said, you don't need a lot of water when drilling a hole. And this will go fairly quick with a beach stone. And 80 grit to 100 grit bit, there we are, all the way through. And once in a while when you're doing it, you'll get a little bit of a chip out or a rough edge. This one has a little bit of a rough edge on the back. You can see just a little bit of roughness there. So we're going to widen out the hole just a little bit. I'm going to put it in there, and I'm just going to rotate around a little wider than I was. Just keep an even, consistent rotation so it doesn't get off-centered. Okay. That's about as big as I'll want for a hole. So now we are going to switch out our bit here, and we are going to use a cone-shaped bit. Okay, we've got our cone-shaped bit in the Fordham. This one is about 240 grit if I had to guess. You really want to get a little bit smoother. 600 would work just fine. And what we're going to do here is just go straight onto it. And just go not super fast. You ideally want to go pretty slow when you're drilling a hole. We're just going to rotate a little bit of a circle there. And that'll smooth out the sharp edge for the string so it doesn't catch on there. And have a little taper to it. Now we're going to do that to the back as well. Rinse her off here. And voila, we've got a really nice hole through the beach stone. It's as simple as that. Alright, next I'll demonstrate with a hollow core. These really work slick, but they are a little more. Some of them are about $3 to $4 a piece, so they're not cheap. But they do work really well, and they are probably one of the most efficient ways of drilling a hole. So we'll start again like we did with the barrel-ended one. We want to start at a slight angle, almost a 35 or 45 degree angle to get it started, just so it doesn't slip. We'll just get that edge to eat into there, and then we'll rotate up. We'll let it get in a little ways before we start rotating. Now that it's started, we've got it in there. We're going to rotate around just a little bit. And like I said, these are pretty efficient. This is a little thicker stone than the first one, but it's going to go rather quick. So we'll pull away from the water. Oh, and we're already through. You can see how fast that is in comparison. But they are a little more expensive, and the other ones work really well. So now we're going to use the angled cone bit as well, just to lessen the sharp edge on there. These will get a lot cleaner and cut through, and a little less of the chip out. You can see a teeny bit of a chip out right there from the back. But with the angled cone bit, we'll be able to clean that up real quick. All right, so let's just clean up that sharp edge on there with the cone bit. And this one was around 240. You could use 600, especially with beach stone. They're a lot softer than, say, agate. That should about do it. Rinse it off here. And there we have it, a nice angled edge on there. And now the stone is perfect and ready for carving or laser engraving. Okay, we've got a basic barrel end bit. This one does not have any core in the top. It has just a flat edge on there, kind of like the shape of a straw. So I've got a little bit smaller stone, so we're going to use a very small barrel-ended bit here. So we're going to want to start at an angle, just like the other ones, just when we get started so it doesn't slip. And once we get the hole started, we can rotate straight up to 90 degrees to the rock and just rotate in little circles. And you just want to make sure that it stays wet while you're drilling a hole. You can pull away and get the slurry going like so. Once it looks like it's getting really pasty, we'll pull away and add a little more water and just rinse it out. And there we are, we're through the rock. So this one's a bit smaller, so we're going to just open it up a little bit by rotating a little bigger circles in there. Now I'll show you what we can do to, I'm going to open this up just a little more on the back here. Now this one's a bit smaller of a hole, so we won't use quite as big of a cone. We will use a smaller little cone bit for this one. All right, we have a little bit smaller of a cone bit, so we're going to do the same with the big one. We're just going to lessen that sharp edge where we drilled and clean up any little chip outs or breakouts from it coming through the back side. Just going to rotate in a circle there. Do the same on the front. Well, there we have it. So we used 3 different bits for drilling a hole in a beach stone, and then just an angled bit at the end to clean up the edges. That's how it's done. I'm Wayne from waynesworldagates.com. Find me on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. I'm all about sharing the creative process to inspire others to create. Welcome to my world.